The young man had just completed his mandatory military service and was discharged to go home. However, he felt rather lost about his future and didn't know what to do next. Li Tang decided to go to university, choosing the path that many young men take after finishing their service. But Li Tang's mind was drifting as far away as Canada. Li Tang returned to his rundown rental apartment and continuously watched videos of experiences in the Rocky Mountains, which he longed to visit. Just then, he received the painting of the Rocky Mountains that he had bought, but he didn't even have a hammer to hang it up. That evening, while Li Tang was working at the convenience store, two older customers came in. A drunk man stumbled in and asked Li Tang to get him a pack of cigarettes. When he saw the warning label, "Cigarettes can burn your little bird," he immediately asked to switch to a different brand. He then tossed some loose change down for payment and made an obscene gesture, making Li Tang visibly uncomfortable. The man went outside and demanded that Li Tang bring him beer and dried squid. Li Tang immediately chased after the customer and said, "Sir, you need to pay at the counter first and wait to receive your items." The man's companion stopped him, cursing at Li Tang before entering the convenience store himself, politely selecting the food and drinks he wanted. He also prevented his friend from further harassing the store. Afterward, Li Tang looked disgusted at the mess that the two customers had left behind. When his shift was over, the store manager came to take over. Li Tang asked to borrow a hammer, but the manager went inside and didn't hear what the young man said. Later, Li Tang was walking home on a deserted alley when he saw the drunk customer from earlier lying on the ground. Assuming he was just passed out from being drunk, Li Tang continued on his way. After walking a short distance, he saw the man's companion walking, so Li Tang asked him to take his friend home because the forecast predicted rain. The older man told Li Tang to get lost and kept walking. The young man then made the obscene gesture that the old man had thrown in his face earlier. The man turned around and slapped Li Tang across the face several times. As he hit him, he cursed at Li Tang with harsh words. The young man then remembered a memory from high school. Back then, he and his classmate, Dong Han, had been bullied by 3 male classmates. One of them flew in and kicked him, knocking him to the ground, then stomped on his face. Now, Li Tang was being stomped on the face by this thug, and this time, Li Tang decided to fight back. So he picked up the hammer and coldly delivered a blow to the man's head. After that, it started to rain. The thug struggled to his feet and staggered a few steps, then collapsed to the ground and gasped. Li Tang was terrified and saw 2 men approaching, but they turned back around. Suddenly, a woman wearing dark glasses and a dog were standing nearby. Then, the dog led the woman past Li Tang, wearing a guide dog harness. The dog went over and sniffed the body of the man who had just collapsed, then led the woman with the dark glasses away. Li Tang hurriedly grabbed his bag and quickly left the scene. The young man ran home and rushed into the bathroom to wash off any traces of blood on his body. Then, the image of the man from earlier appeared again, constantly complaining that Li Tang had attacked him. "I have an elderly, senile mother at home and 3 children who need to be raised. Now that I'm dead, what will they do?" Li Tang then imagined the scene of himself being arrested by the police in the disappointed eyes of his parents and sister. His mother even fainted from the shock. Later, his friend Dong Han knocked on the door, asking to crash for the night because he was too drunk. Li Tang started researching how long a manslaughter conviction would carry. Suddenly, he heard police sirens outside. The young man looked out and saw someone being escorted into a police car for assault. Li Tang then wondered what the 3 guys who used to bully them in high school were up to now. "They're probably still living as useless losers, right?" Dong Han replied. "They're actually doing really well. One of them just showed off his Porsche on Instagram. Another is a successful level 7 civil servant, and the other has a happy family. How could those jerks be so successful?" Li Tang then remembered that before enlisting, he had a fling with an older woman in the Go Club without his girlfriend finding out, and in high school, he stole Dong Han's tablet, but he got away with it and nobody suspected him. Maybe every situation works out in his favor. Li Tang decided to create an alibi, so he said to his friend, "You came here at 10 p.m. last night." But Dong Han insisted that he entered the apartment at 11 p.m. Now Li Tang remembered that he had left the hammer he borrowed from the convenience store at the scene. The next day, Detective Zhang went to the scene where the thug had died to investigate and found a bag of groceries purchased from the man's convenience store. Li Tang languidly lay at home when he received a call from the convenience store manager asking him to cover a shift because the female employee was busy and couldn't come in. Li Tang peeked out the door but didn't dare go outside. At this time, Detective Zhang also entered the convenience store and asked the manager to let him copy the surveillance camera data. Detective Zhang went outside and saw two students walking by and ran up to ask Detective Zhang for a lighter. When they heard Detective Zhang's curt response, one of them tried to start a fight with the old man in the fedora. They then realized that the old man was actually a police officer. Both were invited to the station and were even given a sample of gum stuck in their hair. The two male students were given a lecture by the police officer. Detective Zhang now reviewed the camera data and saw that Li Guanghun had come to the store to shop the previous night. When he got to the part where the convenience store employee picked up the hammer, a fly blocked the camera. After that, he saw the young man walking out with his backpack. The detective returned to the convenience store and asked the manager, "Who was the clerk working here last night?" Just then, Li Tang came to work. The store owner said, "There's a police officer looking for you." Detective Zhang led Li Tang outside to talk and asked, "Those two made a rude gesture at you like this, threw money down, and made you serve them, and then left without cleaning up, so you killed them." When Li Tang looked surprised, Detective Zhang chuckled and said, "I'm just kidding." He then asked Li Tang what he had heard them talking about. Li Tang said, "They talked about their families." He said it was very hard because he had an elderly, senile mother and 3 young children at home. Suddenly, his junior colleague Yang Yi ran in to inform Detective Zhang, "We've got the fingerprints. They killed each other." A witness saw them fighting while drunk. One used a brick, and the other used a speaker to fight back. While in the car heading back, Detective Zhang scolded the police officer Yang Yi. "Why did you reveal details of the case in front of the witness? Don't be so careless." Li Tang walked back to the alley where the murder had occurred the previous night and saw that someone was finally repairing the surveillance camera near the area. Li Guanghun's wife was summoned to the police station for questioning. The woman recounted, 3 years ago, her old man brought Yo Bu-il home and introduced him as a colleague. His personality was quite agreeable and very friendly. He was close to my children and always gave them pocket money, and he even remembered my birthday. While my husband never does, he just spends all his time drowning in alcohol. He always used sweet words when talking to me, too. Then, well, one thing led to another. He went into my room and closed the door, and we both ended up doing something we shouldn't have. After that, the police felt the motive for the conflict leading to the stabbing between Yo Bu-il and Li Guanghun was perfectly reasonable. Who sleeps with his friend's wife in his own house? If it were me, I'd grab a knife and go after him too. Detective Zhang then requested that his 2 colleagues investigate Kim Monen's background because it seemed like he had seen the man somewhere before. That evening, while Detective Zhang was sitting alone at the police station, his colleague Park rushed in, out of breath, to report Yo Bu-il had falsified everything from his age to his identity. He was actually the Yo Bu-il who had been wanted since 2009. It's real karma. As for Li Tang, while eating with his friend Dong Han, he heard a news report about the murder in the alley a few days earlier, which identified the victim as Yo Bu-il. After DNA testing, the police realized that he was the suspect in the serial killings from 2009, a man named Yo Bu-il. He was a sociopath, very skilled at manipulating people, and an incredibly convincing liar and deceiver. He had even gone after an entire family for insurance money and committed numerous other murders, hiding the bodies. The next day, Li Tang walked out of his house and felt a sense of relief, knowing that all the details of the case had nothing to do with him. That Yo Bu-il was someone who deserved to die. But, surprisingly, at the residence of the woman wearing the black glasses, was the hammer that Li Tang had used to commit the crime earlier. The next day, Li Tang bought a new cell phone and went to the convenience store to relieve the girl he worked with. Then he ran into the woman with the glasses, who had come to buy cigarettes. This woman demanded that Li Tang give her 2 million won in cash. She said, "I can still see," and showed off one of her eyes, which had been burned, and asked, "How does it feel to kill someone? I don't know how you did it, but I need 2 million won by tomorrow." And I bet you don't have any hammers left, do you? After that, she and her dog left, leaving Li Tang terrified. The young man rushed to the cell phone store to return the new phone he had bought, but the store owner said, "You took off the screen protector, so there's nothing I can do. Otherwise, you have to pay off all the installments to sell it back as used." Li Tang checked his bank account and saw that it only had 192,001 left. The young man then looked for temporary work, but only found scam websites. Li Tang went to the convenience store manager to ask for an advance on his salary. But the supermarket manager said, "Last year, I gave an employee an advance on his salary, and he ran away. Since then, I haven't given anyone an advance." But after begging for a while, Li Tang managed to get almost 1 million won in advance pay, but that still wasn't enough to give to the woman. Li Tang went home and took the savings account that his mother had set aside to buy him a house, and quickly ran off. He then went to the bank and cashed out the entire amount in the account. Li Tang wore the bag containing the money to work at the supermarket and kept his eyes glued to the door, watching to see if the woman with the black glasses would appear. In the evening, the store manager came up to him and said, "I saw a strange woman come in earlier. I thought she was blind, but I had the feeling she was watching me." Li Tang immediately ran outside to look and found a pack of cigarettes on the table with a note saying to meet at 12 o'clock tomorrow at a house with a green gate. The next day, Li Tang went to the house to meet the woman with the black glasses. She made him a cup of coffee and said, "I hate people, which is why I walk around at night. Bad luck that I saw you, though that you took out both of those men." "Huh?" Li Tang shook his head. Then he laid out the money for the wicked woman to count. But she started playing games and demanded that Li Tang give her the same amount of money every month. When she saw Li Tang getting upset, she pulled out the hammer and berated him for making her an accomplice. Who would risk all of this for just 2 million won? Pay up at the end of the month, no less, and your secret stays buried. Li Tang was now furious, so he grabbed the hammer and said, "I'm just giving you 2 million won to get this back." As the young man walked away, she said, "You went to Uijiang University, class of 18, right? I guess you want to ruin your sister's upcoming wedding. Your mom goes to church a lot too, doesn't she? I bet she won't dare show her face there anymore." Hearing that, Li Tang turned back. The girl then took off her black glasses so that Li Tang could clearly see her damaged eye. Then she continued to threaten, "These days, forensic technology is very advanced. I bet your DNA is all over my house. If I tell the cops, your whole house will be searched. You'll be spending at least 15 years behind bars. How do you plan to live with a murder conviction? Beg me, and I'll lower the amount." Then Li Tang opened his mouth and said, "Please help me," and felt like he had become a dog, collared by her. Whenever she beckoned, he had to come running on all fours as fast as he could. The young man decided he couldn't let her blackmail him for the rest of his life, so he picked up the hammer and struck, so she couldn't close her eyes anymore. After that, Li Tang gathered all the money and quickly left the house. The door was closed. The dog then ran to its owner and started licking all over her. Many days passed like that, and every day 2 cartons of milk were delivered to the house. The delivery guy thought it was very strange that the milk was being delivered, but no one was bringing it inside, so he jumped up to look over the wall. Then he saw the horror inside. The police started examining the scene. Detective Zhang and his colleagues entered the house to collect DNA samples. Detective Zhang found 2 life insurance policies in the drawer. Outside, many police officers were chasing the guide dog. It then continued to dig for something. The police realized there was a skull underneath. Then, they recovered 2 sets of skeletal remains. The victim's name was Xian Yo Ok. The victim's body and the 2 sets of skeletal remains were being examined by forensics. Then, the forensics team reported to Detective Park that there were no fingerprints other than the victim's on the kettle and plastic coffee cup. The coffee sample also didn't have anyone else's DNA besides the victim. All around were only the dog's saliva, as the dog had licked everything with fingerprints from the doorknobs to the tables and the floor. Li Tang went home and lay listlessly on the floor. The image of the girl kept appearing everywhere. The young man checked his phone and saw that the convenience store manager had made many missed calls. Then he thought about choosing a negative way out by running away, but he didn't have the courage. Li Tang decided to try one more time, but then heard a knock on the door from his friend Dong Han. Li Tang opened the door and threw some money at his friend to make him leave. Then Li Tang got hit by his friend for daring to disrespect him. Li Tang now admitted that he had stolen Dong Han's tablet back in high school. Dong Han then said, "I already knew that, but I pretended not to know because I saw you started treating me better after that. I don't know if you're a bad or good person anymore, but just live your whole life as a useless person. Keep that money and spend it." As evening approached, Officer Park was leading his guide dog to a medical center for a checkup when the dog picked up a scent and started barking loudly in front of a karaoke bar. Li Tang was sitting alone inside. The young man received a text message from a police officer informing him that he'd been sued by the convenience store manager for wage theft. Meanwhile, outside, the two students whom Detective Zhang had previously brought to the police station were looking in Officer Park's direction, plotting their revenge. One grabbed a bottle of alcohol and started to walk towards the officer, but the other one tried to stop him. Despite the protest, the first student smashed the bottle and stabbed Officer Park with the broken glass. The guide dog took the opportunity to flee. The two male students also ran off, leaving Officer Park collapsed on the ground. Li Tang stepped out of the karaoke bar and read a news article about the blind woman who had died, revealed to have murdered both of her parents. Li Tang realized that the two individuals he had killed were indeed deserving of death, and the police hadn't found any evidence. It was luckier than winning the lottery. Walking through a dark alley, the two students saw Li Tang approaching. When they started making degrading and insulting remarks towards him, Li Tang felt goosebumps rising on the back of his neck. This phenomenon had also occurred before he attacked the previous two victims. The next morning, the two students were lying motionless in a deserted vacant lot. Li Tang woke up covered in blood, with a brick and a hammer lying nearby, along with a note that read, "Call me if you need help. Nickname, only for hero." Before, the blind girl, Xian Yo Ok, had been a rebellious and unruly teenager who liked to hang out with a crowd. During one get-together, while sitting in a room with her 3 friends and a bunch of gas canisters, she lit a cigarette. The room caught fire, severely burning her and leaving her blind in one eye. Some time later, Yo Ok attempted a similar method to kill her parents, but her mother suddenly smelled the strong gas odor and woke up. So, Yo Ok changed her plan to claim her parents' substantial life insurance money. Afterwards, she made the garden the final resting place for her parents. Detective Zhang read an online post from someone claiming to be Yo Ok's cousin, who continuously cursed her recently deceased cousin. Detective Zhang, along with his younger colleague, went to a workshop to find the woman. The woman admitted to writing the post and showed the detectives a scar on her face. She said, "When I was in elementary school, Xiao Yo Ok threw boiling water in my face because that's just the kind of person she was. She made up some excuse about me touching her things so she could try to kill me. Afterwards, she just laughed about it." Officer Park was discharged from the hospital after being stabbed the night before and was surrounded by his colleagues congratulating him on surviving his brush with death. Later, Officer Park took his photo to his boss and asked to be able to retire early. "My wife is scared," he explained. "If I keep working as a police officer, who knows when my time will be up? I'll open a Japanese goods store to make a living." Detective Zhang attended the funeral of one of the male students who had stabbed Officer Park, and the boy's mother slapped him in the face. She refused to allow an autopsy on her son and berated the police for being useless, for not yet catching her son's murderer. Detective Zhang got into his car and told his younger colleague, "Her son used to be a perpetrator himself. I once handled a case where a middle school girl named Kang John was involved. She always had a camera in her hands." This John Xiao also fell into the sights of the two male students Kang and Li. One evening, the two led John Xiao to a field to violate her, causing John Xiao to experience severe shock. A month later, she took her own life. However, the mother from before went to disrupt the funeral and continuously claimed that John Xiao willingly offered herself to her son, demanding that John Xiao's father agree to a settlement. She confidently slandered John Xiao right at her funeral, infuriating John Xiao's relatives. But she still refused to stop. And then her son got away with it because he was a minor. John Xiao's father was forced to live the rest of his life in resentment. After that, there wasn't a day that went by without them fighting and stealing. "I'm not a father, But if I were John Seo's father, I would have killed those 2 kids a long time ago. Yang Yi, having listened to this, immediately said that he would go meet with the parents of the girl John Seo, because it was very likely that the father had killed the 2 young men to get justice for his daughter. Detective Jang went to the convenience store to investigate Seo Yo-ok's previous appearance. There, the manager said, "My store's cameras only store 5 days' worth of footage before deleting it." When Detective Jang asked about the employee, Li Tang, the manager said, he took an advance on his salary and ran off. It seemed like he was constantly watching the blind girl the night before, though. Li Tang now decided to text the person with the nickname Only for Hero, and was immediately invited to a secret chat group. All messages in this group were automatically deleted after 3 seconds. When he saw the person address him by his real name, Li Tang immediately blocked the contact. Then, someone rang the doorbell of his house. Li Tang looked through the peephole and saw it was the mailman. The young man opened the letter and saw it was a summons from the police because Li Tang had embezzled his salary advance from the convenience store owner. Detective Yang Yi drove to the house where the female student, John Seo, used to live. The father, Kang Sang-muk, led the detective inside to see the room his daughter had lived in, along with the photos John Seo had taken with her friends. The father also said, "My John Seo was very kind and generous, so I killed those 2 kids." Immediately, the father was arrested and taken to the station for questioning. The father said, "I used a brick to hit them. I saw those 2 stumbling around drunk, so I thought my chance had come." After that, Detective Yang Yi showed the interrogation results to Detective Jang and was sure that the father, Kang Sang-muk, had attacked the 2 young men to avenge his daughter. Detective Jang then took the statement and went into the room to meet the father, then asked him to sign the confirmation of his statement. Detective Jang invited the father outside for a smoke, but he said, "I quit smoking a long time ago." Suddenly, the detective asked, "You didn't kill them, did you? Because you don't smoke." But the victims had cigarette burns on their faces. "And you're not right-handed." The boss immediately asked Detective Jang to come outside to talk. The boss rebuked Detective Jang for ruining everything, because Kang Sang-muk's motive was too plausible. But the detective insisted. The perpetrator used his right hand to hold the brick to hit the victims. He's definitely hiding something, so we need to find out why. Meanwhile, Li Tang now decided to call the police station's criminal investigation department to confess. The police officer looked up Li Tang's name and thought the guy was confessing because he had just received the summons, and told Li Tang to come to the police station at 9 p.m. tonight to cooperate with the investigation. The young man put money into 2 envelopes to prepare to pay back his mother and the convenience store manager. He put a cigarette butt and 2 of the murder weapons he used into his bag. Detective Jang received a message notifying him that the employee, Li Tang, had scheduled to come in at 9 p.m. Afterwards, Yang Yi reported, "I told the mothers of the 2 student victims that we've found the perpetrator." Kang Sang-muk had also just been released and returned home. Now, the father, Kang Sang-muk, was walking out of the police station. And the truth was that he had previously received a toy box of superhero sports cars, but when he opened it, there was a sharp knife inside. That night, the father, clutching the knife, stalked the 2 male students who had tormented his daughter, receiving a message, "An N only for Hero, just do as practiced, I'll handle the rest." At that moment, the father trembled all over, hesitating to strike. But when he looked again, the 2 students were gone. Suddenly, a car slammed into the father with great force. Detective Jang and his younger brother, Yang Yi, rushed over to find the driver was the mother of one of the 2 students who had been killed. Li Tang went to an ATM and deposited some money to return to his mother. As soon as he stepped outside, 2 men on a motorcycle snatched his bag, causing Li Tang to fall. The robbers sped onto a bridge. After taking the remaining money from the envelope, they threw the bag into the river. Li Tang was taken to the hospital in an ambulance, and the police recorded the robbery, and all the evidence for the young man's confession was now gone. Li Tang was taken to the same hospital where Kang Sang-muk, the father, was being treated. Detective Jang continued to question the father, "Are you planning to take all the blame for the culprit?" But the father said, "I took matters into my own hands to make those 2 pay for what they did to my daughter. It gave me some peace of mind." Detective Jang said, "If you want them to pay, You should do it within the bounds of the law." After that, the detective left. Lee Tang had his wounds bandaged by a nurse. Kang Sang-muk was wheeled outside by a nurse to get some air. Then, he received another message from All for Hero. "I will respect your decision. Thank you for everything." Suddenly, the father saw Lee Tang walking out. At that moment, the police officer was on his phone, so the father decided to follow the young man in his wheelchair. Then, he tripped and fell. Lee Tang turned back to ask if he was okay, and the father told him to leave quickly. "There are police here." Lee Tang asked, "Are you the one messaging on Telegram? Were you the one who took me home that night? Was the robbery just now you're doing?" The father said, "It wasn't me. The detective will explain everything to you. Go, thank you." Then, Lee Tang hurried down the stairs. The young man ran downstairs and was spotted by Detective Jang, who immediately called the station to ask if Lee Tang had confessed yet, and was told no. Kang Sang-muk returned to his hospital room and watched a video of his daughter as a child, remembering the time she asked him to quit taking his medication. Then, the father took a handful of pills and swallowed them, collapsing to the floor. The truth was, the night before, the father had seen Lee Tang fighting with the two male students. Lee Tang was about to hit them with a brick, but one of the guys lunged at him, causing both of them to roll into an open field. Lee Tang was repeatedly punched, but he managed to grab the brick and hit the guy in the head. The other one woke up and attacked, but he was also taken down by Lee Tang's brick, then finished off, and Lee Tang passed out. Detective Jang, now chasing Lee Tang, received a call from a nurse at the hospital about Kang Sang-muk's condition, so Lee Tang was able to escape. The two detectives rushed back to the hospital and found Kang Sang-muk undergoing a stomach pump and resuscitation. Lee Tang opened the Telegram app and saw that the All for Hero account had been deleted. Previously, Kang Sang-muk and someone else had taken Lee Tang home after he had taken down the two male students. Before that, Kang Sang-muk had told the mysterious person, "After jumping, my daughter suffered for another 16 hours in the hospital before she died. I really want to deal with those who caused my daughter to end up like that." The mysterious person promised to help the father, and this person was wearing a superhero-themed shirt. Lee Tang's sister and parents barged into his rented apartment but didn't find Lee Tang, only a letter he had left behind. Lee Tang apologized to his parents for being adrift and making so many mistakes. "I plan to go to Canada quietly. I hope you understand. I promise to become a decent person and come back." Lee Tang sat on the bus, checking the meager amount of money left in his bank account. He looked up news about the two male students he had killed and learned they were part of a bullying group at school and had sexually assaulted female students. Lee Tang also tried to find information about the person with the nickname All for Hero, but found nothing. Then, he looked up the consequences of failing to appear at the police station after receiving a summons. Lee Tang wandered aimlessly on subway trains, unsure of where to go. At that moment, a chubby young man wearing glasses appeared and approached Lee Tang, saying, "I'm only for Hero. I'm not a weirdo, I'm here to help you." Lee Tang then rode with the chubby guy to his place. Stepping inside, Lee Tang saw the house was full of figurines of various superheroes saving the world. The young man introduced himself as Ro Bin and said he would be his right-hand man. Ro Bin showed Lee Tang the backgrounds of all 4 people who had died at Lee Tang's hands and said, "That night, I helped Kang Sang-muk take you home. What do you think all the cases you've been involved in have in common? They were all people who deserved to die. You didn't destroy the evidence just disappeared, right? It seems like it's fate telling you to continue. I want you to join me in serving justice. Right now, I have about 50 million won. If you need it, I'll give it all to you. You just need to cooperate with me. If you cooperate, I'll help you escape this life on the run." Lee Tang was extremely hesitant after hearing that. As night fell, Ro Bin kept whispering in Lee Tang's ear, insisting that their meeting was fate. Lee Tang then asked him, "You said you had 2 partners? Where are they now?" Ro Bin replied, "You've already met one. As for the other, it's best we don't meet." When Ro Bin had fallen asleep, Lee Tang went in and opened a secret door. Inside, there were numerous documents, cash, and a wide variety of weapons. Lee Tang grabbed a taser and put on a jacket before heading out. Ro Bin then opened his eyes. Li Tang, wearing a jacket with the words "Only for Hero" printed on it, was walking down a street when he bumped into a man in a suit, reigniting his urge to act. Later, the prosecutor finished his drinking session with his subordinates. He gave his subordinates a credit card so they could go to a second venue. The prosecutor went home alone. Li Tang then pretended to be a valet driver and arrived to pick up the intoxicated prosecutor. In the car, after the prosecutor answered a phone call from his wife at home, he realized that the driver had taken the wrong route, but he was suddenly tasered by Li Tang. When he woke up, he found himself tied to a chair. The prosecutor pleaded with Li Tang, "Please let me go home. My daughter is only in middle school. What did I do wrong to deserve this?" Li Tang didn't know what crime the guy had committed to end up in this situation. Then, Ro Bin appeared and plugged the phone with the prosecutor's happy family picture into a computer. Ro Bin cracked the security and found evidence of the crimes the prosecutor had committed. Li Tang walked over to the prosecutor and pulled out a weapon. Later, the prosecutor was floating on a river, witnessed coldly by Li Tang and Ro Bin. Li Tang's sister went to the convenience store to ask the manager about her brother's whereabouts. The manager recounted all of Li Tang's actions towards him to the girl. Later, the manager went to see the police officer at the investigation department and reported, "I have received all the prepaid salary from Li Tang's family and have withdrawn the lawsuit." A special investigation team was formed to investigate the recent mysterious cases, but after 4 months with no new leads, it was disbanded and the investigation was closed. The head of the special investigation team asserted to Detective Zhang, Kang Sang-muk was the culprit who killed the 2 male students, and the Sion Yo-ok case was a different perpetrator. But Detective Zhang insisted, "These are serial killings by the same perpetrator, and I will reinvestigate myself." Detective Zhang began to approach Detective Kim, his colleague, to recruit him to his side. At home, when Ro Bin opened the door, he found Detective Zhang coming to see him. Detective Zhang presented the murder case files to ask Ro Bin to analyze whether they were serial killings. After reviewing them, Ro Bin deliberately remarked, "These are separate cases because the weapons and methods used are very different." When Detective Zhang asked about the prosecutor's case, Ro Bin knew exactly which prosecutor it was and accurately recounted how he was dealt with, as well as the location and number of stab wounds he received. At that moment, a food delivery person arrived for Ro Bin. Then, Detective Zhang called a colleague and said to Ro Bin, "You hacked into the prosecutor's office's internal system again? Only we know about the prosecutor Du's case." Then he opened the door for Officer Kim to come in and invite Ro Bin to the station for questioning. But after the interrogation, Officer Kim said to Detective Zhang, "He insists that he read about Prosecutor Du's information online, so we have to let him go." Later, Detective Zhang personally drove Ro Bin home. Ro Bin acted resentful because he had been taken to the police station even though there was no clear evidence, but the detective told the guy, "Stop playing the hero," and asked Ro Bin, "Be careful." The next day, a delivery guy arrived at Ro Bin's place with a block of tofu, and it was none other than Li Tang. Ro Bin told him that a sharp detective was watching him and asked Li Tang to keep him safe. When Li Tang went downstairs, Detective Kim approached him and asked, "Do you often deliver food to apartment 307? At this time, Detective Zhang and Yang Yi were sitting in a car nearby. Detective Zhang was telling his younger colleague, "Ro Bin is a computer addict. I once wanted to catch a murderer, but Ro Bin helped him escape, so I'm very suspicious of him." Officer Kim got into the car and reported to Detective Zhang. The delivery guy said he just delivered black bean noodles to apartment 307, but he said he's never met the tenant. Detective Zhang remembered that this delivery guy had delivered food to Ro Bin before, but now he's saying he's never met Ro Bin, so he immediately told his 2 colleagues, "Chase after that Yonggaru delivery guy right away." Detective Zhang went up to the apartment to meet Ro Bin and barged into the house, asking, "Are you choosing victims for him to kill?" Detective Yang Yi and the officer chased after Li Tang and saw many delivery guys in black uniforms appearing at the same time, but only 2 bikes had Yonggaru written on them. Yang Yi decided to chase after a Yonggaru fast food delivery bike that was taking off. After chasing on foot for a while, he lost the motorcycle, so Yang Yi decided to find another way to intercept the delivery guy's bike. However, he was blocked by 2 movers. Consequently, Officer Yang Yi caught up with the delivery guy. Robin was now kneeling on the ground, explaining, "I don't know who Li Tang is." After that, Detective Zhang hit him repeatedly. First with his hands, then Detective Zhang switched to using his feet, and then he threw all the figurines at Robin. At this time, his younger colleague Yang Yi brought the delivery guy back, but it was someone else, not Li Tang. Now, Yang Yi received a call from the chief of police at the station, so he handed the phone to the detective. The chief shouted at the detective because images of him barging into the house and assaulting Robin had been spread all over the internet. At this moment, patrol officers were ringing the doorbell outside because someone had reported, "Police are assaulting civilians." Detective Zhang turned on the computer and discovered that his every move was being live streamed online. Detective Zhang found a small camera hidden behind a painting, so he confiscated it. At this time, Robin was holding another camera and smiling smugly. Detective Zhang charged forward, but Yang Yi stopped him. The delivery guy took the opportunity to leave. Two patrol officers rushed in to restrain Detective Zhang. Li Tang returned to the fast food restaurant where he worked. Then, he packed up all his belongings to continue running. The guy watched the video of Detective Zhang beating Robin that was spreading online and smirked. Detective Zhang, his colleagues, and the police chief were scolded severely by the director. When the director's saliva splattered on his face, Chief Park couldn't stand it anymore and rushed forward to fight the director. After that, Detective Zhang packed up his belongings and left the police station, and Chief Park shared the same fate as Detective Zhang. Li Tang continued down his path of using crime to curb crime, still believing it was a journey of justice. That day, the delivery guy who was mistakenly arrested by Officer Yang Yi returned to the restaurant where he worked. A man wearing a police name tag was there. He wanted to ask about Li Tang's whereabouts and wanted to meet him. At this time, Robin was changing Li Tang's identity and making the young man a new ID with the name Li Dongzhu, and continuing to entrust Li Tang with dealing with the scumbags who were evading the law. A university professor seduced his students until she became pregnant, then abandoned her. He dealt with and buried his mistress. Very soon after that, this professor was dealt with by Li Tang as well. Now, Li Tang is also working at a large supermarket to make a living. In this supermarket, there is a female employee named Zhong A. This woman, Zhong A, always had a melancholic look on her face. Zhong A was always wary and fearful of the gazes of the men around her. Because in the past, a sensitive video of Zhong A and her boyfriend had been leaked online and received a lot of attention from internet users, Zhong A had to leave home and move to this remote place to work, and also had cosmetic surgery to change her appearance. That day, while sitting at a bus station, Zhong A noticed that men were still constantly posting on forums to find her whereabouts and even knew that she had cosmetic surgery. Afterwards, Zhong A brushed away her tears to welcome her mother to Busan to visit her. The mother returned to the room and gave Zhong A her old ID card that she had just picked up. Zhong A looked at the two ID cards and realized that she still couldn't shake off the past, even though she had changed her identity. In the evening, Zhong A took her mother out to eat at a restaurant. At this time, a young man was eating with his girlfriend, but he kept looking at Zhong A, making her feel very uncomfortable. Zhong A went straight to this young man and said, "What's so strange about the way I'm eating that you're staring? You're excited to see the girl from the sex clip in real life. I'm the girl in that video, so what?" The young man then asked, "Did you go to Cannon Elementary School? Are you Ison? We used to go to the same elementary school." Afterwards, the two sat down for a drink together. Zhong A was now talking softly and telling her friend Sang Min, "What you heard me say earlier is true." The two began reminiscing about their childhood and laughing and talking happily with each other. Afterwards, Sang Min took Zhong A home and asked for her phone number to keep in touch. But Zhong A said, "I'd be more comfortable if we didn't see each other again." Sang Min watched Zhong A with a look of regret. The next day, while at work, Zhong A received a call from her friend Sang Min. Sang Min said, "I contacted a lot of elementary school friends, so I found out your phone number." Zhong A seemed very unhappy about this. Sang Min said, "I'm being blackmailed, but I don't know what to do. Can you help me?" Afterwards, Sang Min came to Zhong A's house to confide in her and said, "I carelessly leaked a private video of me and my girlfriend online and I'm being blackmailed." Now I don't dare meet my parents, and my girlfriend has broken up with me. How did you get over your past? Jong-a also replied, whenever a man comes near me, I always wonder if he's seen my video, so I haven't gotten over anything. Sang-min then took Jong-a's hand and said, it's really not your fault, you're doing great. Jong-a was very touched to hear this. Sang-min went into the bathroom and smirked. When he opened the door, Jong-a said, wait until you're sober before you drive home. Afterwards, Sang-min slept over with Jong-a and lay on the floor. But he was very excited and couldn't fall asleep. Jong-a saw this and asked, want to come up here? The next day, Sang-min, with a look of satisfaction and triumph, was sitting and eating with his current girlfriend. Afterwards, he promised, I will work really hard to have money to organize our wedding. Officer Park, who had resigned from the police force, visited Detective Jang, who was suspended from duty. Officer Park asked, why doesn't Detective Jang answer Yang Yi's calls? Afterwards, Yang Yi also came to the house and expressed, I'm sorry Detective Jang, because after the incident at Robin's house last time, I didn't get disciplined or anything. Only Detective Jang was suspended from duty. The young man expressed his determination to catch Lee Tang and the computer addict. Yang Yi showed Detective Jang camera footage that showed Lee Tang went to Busan immediately after we missed catching him. Immediately after that, the case of Professor No occurred there. Detective Jang also said, after that, the murder of a drug dealer and a loan shark also occurred in Busan, but the perpetrators have not been caught. Yang Yi then invited Detective Jang, let's go to Busan. Detective Jang and Yang Yi went to the Busan police station and gave them Lee Tang's photo to ask for their cooperation in the search. But the police here said, they're too busy investigating the case of Professor No. Currently, we have identified a person who has a grudge against the professor victim. But we will try our best to find the missing person. While Lee Tang was pushing a cart into the supermarket, he overheard a man named Sang-min on the phone, talking very sweetly and intimately with a woman. Shortly after, Jong-a came out. Then, Sang-min rushed over and greeted Jong-a like a close brother, acting very affectionate. Lee Tang now realized this guy seemed like a real jerk. Later, they were all over each other at Jong-a's place. When Jong-a asked if she could go to Seoul with him, Sang-min hesitated. He then received a text message and immediately put his phone face down. Jong-a abruptly sat up and went to check the phone, only to find a video message from his girlfriend announcing their upcoming wedding. Sang-min snatched the phone back. Jong-a demanded, didn't you come to me because you broke up with your girlfriend? Who are you really? The truth was, after his first meeting with Jong-a, Sang-min went to the trash dump and searched for a package delivered to Jong-a to get her phone number. Then, he also searched for the leaked video of Jong-a to watch it with lustful eyes. Sang-min finally admitted, I lied to sleep with you. Jong-a slapped him and yelled, don't you see me as a human being? They began arguing loudly. Sang-min retorted, you invited me over, so who are you blaming now? Jong-a threatened to tell his girlfriend and colleagues about their affair, so he pushed her down and strangled her, pinning her to the bed. Then, he used both hands to squeeze her neck tightly until Jong-a went limp. Detective Yang Yi and Detective Jang, staying at a hotel in Busan, saw a news bulletin reporting a fire in an apartment. Lee Tang also heard the bulletin and learned that the deceased woman was a 29-year-old new resident. Some gossiping women at a nearby convenience store began to chat animatedly, saying, that poor girl didn't die from the fire, she was murdered. Someone heard her arguing with someone all night. At that moment, the man who had previously visited the shipper's office looking for Lee Tang was also present. Detective Jang and Yang Yi went to the Busan police station, but the police there assumed Jong-a's death was just because she was drunk, fell asleep, and forgot to turn off the gas stove. But Detective Jang insisted, this is a murder case. Lee Tang arrived at the supermarket for work and was informed by a colleague. Jong-a died in the apartment fire last night. Lee Tang then noticed the presence of the mysterious man and tried to leave. But the old man kept following him. He abandoned his cart, put on his jacket, and ran, only to unexpectedly see Detective Jang walking into the supermarket. The detective chased after Lee Tang. The young man ran into the warehouse but was tripped by the strange man and fell. The man asked, did you cause the fire in the apartment? Why were you so careless? I have a lot to talk to you about. Then, Lee Tang managed to run outside. Detective Zhang ran in and discovered that Li Tang had escaped through the back door. Yang Yi announced, someone stole the security camera footage from the supermarket. Detective Zhang showed Li Tang's picture to the supermarket manager, who confirmed that he had worked there and had changed his name. The strange man reviewed the camera data on the hard drive he had just stolen and saw Zhong talking to a young man. Sang Min went to the hospital for a checkup, and the doctor informed him, "You have gonorrhea. You have to take medication for now and absolutely no intercourse for a while." He was about to call his soon-to-be wife to inform her, but she confessed first. "The doctor said I have gonorrhea. I'm sorry, I only made a mistake with you once. My friends kept telling me to have one last wild fling before getting married. It was all my carelessness." Sang Min cursed her out and immediately broke up with her. He returned home to find a man waiting for him. The man showed a police badge and said, "I'm here to investigate Zhong A's case." When the man said, "Someone heard you arguing in Zhong A's house," Sang Min admitted, "I slept with her that night. Then Zhong A found out I hadn't broken up with my girlfriend, so we argued. But I didn't kill her." The man clapped once and took out weapons from his backpack. Then, he strangled Sang Min and kicked him. Li Tang drove the truck and informed Ro Bin, "I didn't kill Zhong A. I'm going to run away from Busan." After some time, Ro Bin told him that they shouldn't contact each other for a while. He also warned him not to act on those urges if they arose. Sang Min was captured and tied up. He realized that the man wasn't actually a police officer. The man said, "I was a cop back in the day. I'm looking for someone. He should be here by now to deal with you." Then, he threw Sang Min a piece of paper so he could write a confession. He admitted that he was the one who hurt Zhong A. Sang Min picked up the pen and died shortly after finishing his written confession, suffocated. The man started cleaning up the scene and overheard the building manager warning residents to turn off their induction stoves when leaving home, as there had been recent fires caused by forgetting to turn them off. Yang Yi and another police officer went to the building to find Sang Min. As they knocked on the apartment door, the man left. Yang Yi put his ear to the door to listen for a gas leak, and a massive explosion occurred, throwing Yang Yi to the ground. Meanwhile, Detective Zhang and the police chief from Busan arrived at Li Tang's place. The police officer called to request a spare key to the apartment, but the security guard reported that it had been stolen, so they used a hammer to break down the door. They found the room filled with fire extinguisher powder, and Li Tang was nowhere to be found. Earlier, when Li Tang entered the elevator to escape, he looked in the mirror and felt a chill crawl up his neck. Fearing he might hurt the young man in the elevator with him, he stepped out, surprising the young man. Then, this young man wearing headphones grabbed a fire extinguisher and a set of keys and went into Li's apartment, spraying the fire extinguisher everywhere. He later told the police that he did it because Li had been giving him a dirty look, so he stole the keys from the security office and did that. The police chief suspected that this young punk might be working with Li Tang, helping him destroy evidence. At that moment, the mysterious man went home and injected a vial of pain medication into his stomach. Then, he removed his gloves and proceeded to wash a hand that was almost entirely black. Officer Yang Yi, now in the hospital, called Detective Zhang and said, "I saw him. He walked right past me, so I can't be sure it was the same guy you let slip before. I'm sorry, but I snooped through your files." He told Zhang to go see Ro Bin and investigate whether he and Li Tang were working with the man. Detective Zhang told Yang Yi to rest easy. At that moment, his mother scolded Detective Zhang for talking too loudly and not letting her husband and son rest. "Seeing you now, you're just like your father used to be then." The doctor showed the mother and son a consent form about whether to agree to discontinue life support for the father. Because if treatment continued, the patient's quality of life would be greatly diminished. The family should think carefully before making a decision. That night, the young police officer Yang Yi decided not to stay in the hospital to recover, but to continue investigating the case. Ro Bin returned home to find the mysterious man in his house, destroying his tech toys. Ro Bin asked, "Did you cause the gas explosion the other day?" The man confirmed that he did and asked, "Are you still playing the hero? You used to call me the hero of our time." When Ro Bin said he wasn't worthy, the man hit Ro Bin and accused him. "You taught me all kinds of tricks back in the day. I got too tired to keep up with you, so I gave up." "You little punk, I want to meet the guy you're working with," Ro Bin said. "I haven't been able to contact him." The man looked Ro Bin in the eyes and knew he was telling the truth. Then he demanded that Ro Bin arrange for him to meet the young man so he could teach him a few things. "Let me borrow the book you keep in your safe." Ro Bin tried to stop him, but the man said, "There's something strange in the middle of this book," and confiscated it, leaving. Ro Bin grabbed a baseball bat and charged forward, but ended up flying backward after getting punched in the stomach by the guy. Meanwhile, Li Tang was hiding out in an arcade, playing games to take his mind off things. When he saw a long-haired guy playing at the machine next to him, the hairs on the back of his neck stood up, and he stared at him intently. But Li Tang decided it was just a feeling and left. Detective Yang Yi drove to Ro Bin's place to investigate. When he went upstairs, he ran into the mysterious man, who immediately slugged him. Then, he threw him to the ground. Once he realized Yang Yi was a cop and was alone, he tossed the young officer down like he was a piece of trash. Yang Yi ended up in the hospital with serious injuries. The detective went to the police station and found Ro Bin waiting, demanding to see him. Ro Bin said, "I only saw the young officer unconscious. I don't know who did it." Ro Bin handed over a file, saying, "I didn't know he was back in Korea. I thought he was out of my life for good. It's Song Chan. He's the one who attacked the detective back then. He's also responsible for the gas explosion at Sang Min's house." Detective Jang said, "If you'd given me this much information years ago, that Song Chan wouldn't have gotten away. You always hedge your bets and flip when things get dicey. You're working with Li Tang, too, aren't you?" Ro Bin replied. "Li Tang is different from him and isn't involved in this. If you help me this time, I'll reveal everything you want to know. You probably want revenge for what happened back then, right?" Detective Jang threw the file back at him and told Ro Bin to get lost and not to go around stirring up trouble. Detective Jang left, and someone arrived to take over as chief of detectives, replacing the old one who'd been demoted. Meanwhile, Song Chan was sitting in a taxi. A couple walked out of a restaurant. As they were embracing, a car pulled up. The young man yelled at the driver. "Can't you drive?" The driver explained. "You're supposed to be on the sidewalk." The young man only cursed him out more. Song Chan, sitting in the taxi behind them, got annoyed and pulled out a business card that identified him as the director of an entertainment company. Immediately afterward, the head-headed young man was lying unconscious on the rooftop, lured up there by Song Chan's fake business card. The girlfriend was kneeling and begging the old man to spare her life. Song Chan promised to spare her and instructed, "You have to live an exemplary life from now on." Then he asked her for a pen. The girl said, "I'm an art student, so I don't carry a pen." Song Chan heard this and remarked, "An art student, so you'd be able to draw my face very clearly, huh?" The girl frantically explained, "I only go to a small school. I can't draw." Then, Song Chan got a confession from the girl, admitting to causing trouble, being disrespectful to elders, skipping school, and using drugs. Li Tang went back to his room and saw on the news that the long-haired guy he'd met at the arcade was a wanted murderer. Detective Jang went to the hospital and signed the consent form to discontinue life support for his father. He said sadly, "Rest in peace, Dad." Then, he got a call from the newly appointed Chief Moon, requesting to meet. Chief Moon went directly to Detective Jang's house and presented Song Chan's profile and a new case. Today, the granddaughter of the chairman of Busan Construction was murdered. The higher-ups promised a promotion to whoever solves this case. "Help me get the credit this time. Come back to work tomorrow." Ro Bin was now heading to Busan Construction. He was surrounded by intimidating thugs. Suddenly, he got a call from Li Tang and asked to step outside to take it. Li Tang asked, "What kind of person is Song Chan?" Ro Bin recounted. "I once saw him single-handedly take down 2 thugs to protect a vulnerable person. So I approached him and tried to convince him to work together to bring justice to the world. After hearing me, he burst into tears. But I never expected him to become so ruthless and insane. I realized I'd misjudged him." Li Tang demanded, "Let me see him." Ro Bin ran inside to inform the thugs. The plans changed a bit. Song Chan was reviewing the stack of confessions he had collected. Suddenly, he received a text message from Ro Bin, "Li Tang wants to meet you." He then video called Li Tang and gave him directions to the meeting point. Ro Bin and the Busan Construction thugs were secretly watching from above. Ro Bin could also track Li Tang's movements. Li Tang followed Song Chan's instructions and arrived at a deserted nightclub, where he found Song Chan leisurely eating an apple. Robin, sitting in the car, loudly ordered the thugs to follow his directions, making the head thug quite annoyed. Robin led the thugs there, but the leader ordered Robin to stay behind because he didn't like his attitude. Robin was then tied up by them. Li Tang sat down to talk, and Song Chan asked, "Do you get a special feeling when you're near the people you're going to kill? What exactly is that feeling?" But Li Tang remained silent. Then, Li Tang spoke up. "Where's my book?" Song Chan said. "I haven't finished reading it yet. Don't trust Robin too much. He'll turn on you the second you make a mistake. You can tell by the way he's holding on to the book. Work with me. If you work with me, it's okay to kill a few innocent people. When you're working for a greater cause, some collateral damage is normal. There's a mountain of people out there who need to be dealt with. I don't have enough time or energy anymore. Think it over and call me." As soon as Song Chan left, Li Tang grabbed a knife and attacked, but Song Chan easily knocked him down. Then, Song Chan kicked him and repeatedly punched him in the face. Song Chan concluded, "You don't seem to have any noble intentions at all. You're just a regular killer. And you deserve to die." At this moment, the thugs entered, so Li Tang took the opportunity to jump up and run outside. He saw Robin tied up, so he cut him free and asked, "Why did you keep the book?" Robin explained. "It's not that I don't trust you, I have my own plan." As Li Tang walked away, Robin continued to explain, trying to convince Li Tang to trust him. Li Tang, trembling, said, "I'm so scared, man." Then, he started crying, and a gunshot rang out from inside. Song Chan had shot one of the thugs in the face. He announced to the remaining thugs that he still had 5 bullets left and dared them to come at him. The leader pushed his underlings forward. They attacked with batons and managed to hit Song Chan a few times, but another thug was taken down by Song Chan. Then came the third one. The next one got a kick to the face. The remaining ones started to surround him and attack relentlessly, but the old man was too skilled, and yet another had to give up his life. Song Chan then used a knife to continue fighting. After that, he fired another shot, still having 1 bullet left for the remaining leader. The commander received a call from the leader, reporting, "He ran into an alley and got away, boss." And this leader was now being controlled by Song Chan. The leader confessed, "The chairman said to capture you alive and get rid of you in the same way you did his granddaughter." Song Chan asked, "Was she the girl who went to art school?" "Ah, I remember now." Later, when the police arrived, they only found bodies scattered on the floor. Detective Zhang and his colleague reviewed the CCTV footage and saw that Li Tang had come out that night and freed Robin, and Robin had led the Busan construction guys there beforehand. A police officer intended to investigate the company, but a protest was taking place, preventing him from entering. At that moment, the security guard noticed and recorded footage of Song Chan getting into a taxi on a nearby street. The police immediately went to that street and inquired around, but everyone claimed they hadn't seen the old man. One man said, "A group of thugs came asking me about this old man earlier, too." Meanwhile, Song Chan was standing on a rooftop, watching the police and the group of thugs searching for him. Later, the police found the place where Song Chan had been staying, along with numerous blood-soaked letters of apology. Robin urged Li Tang to come with him, announcing, "Song Chan is about to be caught. We'll go somewhere we'll never be found. Actually, I've got a plan. The other issues will be taken care of. We just need to go down to the warm south and make plans for the future." Li Tang agreed to get in the car and flee with Robin. The department head at the Busan Construction Company went down to the parking garage and realized someone was following him. Then, his phone rang. The caller was Song Chan. The department head was beaten by Song Chan, who demanded, "Mr. Chairman, where are the 2 of you?" At the same time, Detective Zhang and his partner were analyzing the people Song Chan might seek out. Since the place he appeared was not far from Busan Construction, it was highly likely he would go after Chairman Hai Ong. Zhang's partner reported, "That chairman is at a very private location." Detective Zhang immediately asked his partner to accompany him there. A hostess called the security guards outside, saying, "Chairman Hai Ong wants to be alone, so don't let anyone in." However, she was being held hostage by Song Chan, and the chairman was tied up, his eyes closed. Upon hearing this, the security guards assumed the chairman was seeking solace with women around the age of his deceased granddaughter. The hostess was now lying across the chairman's lap. When the chairman woke up, Song Chon began listing his crimes. You frequently bring business partners, officials, and politicians here for entertainment, don't you? You were convicted of tax evasion and embezzlement, yet lived comfortably in prison and were released shortly after. How can you be an example to your granddaughter like this? It's no wonder she died. And the number of people who died because of your demolitions must be in the hundreds. Every time they see you on TV, how enraged must their families be? Tomorrow, Mr. Chairman, you'll also be on the 9 o'clock news, but I doubt you'll be able to watch it. You deserve to die, too. Song Chon raised a sharp screwdriver just as he heard someone entering. Detective Jang pointed his gun at Song Chon, but Song Chon held the screwdriver to the chairman's neck, threatening to pierce his artery. As Song Chon continued ranting nonsense, Detective Jang fired a warning shot. Song Chon looked at Detective Jang and said, "It's you, isn't it? Jang Nangam. You met me at the police station when you were a kid. Little Nangam has become a detective now. How interesting. Are you trying to avenge the man whose head I smashed? Shoot me, you little brat." Detective Jang seethed with rage, but Song Chon acted first, only to be apprehended by the police immediately afterward. Department Head Moon expressed regret that the situation would have been perfect if Chairman Hai Ong had survived, predicting the media would love the story of Detective Jang arresting the criminal who had left his father in a vegetative state. If you get interviewed, say we did everything we could to save Chairman Hai Ong, and show some grief. Then announce that I'll arrange to transfer your father to the police hospital for treatment. Detective Jang then watched as Song Chon was escorted away by the police. Ro Bin and Li Tang stopped at a rest stop to sleep for the night. Ro Bin then shared his story. When I was little, I woke up to find my parents murdered by an intruder. The police investigated but couldn't find the culprit. That's when I realized the need for strength to pursue justice. But I was physically weak and frail, so I decided I would borrow that strength to do this work. Song Chon was being escorted to the police station. He asked for his handcuffs to be loosened because I can't breathe. He then showed his blackened hand and said, "I have diabetes and high blood pressure." Frightened, the police officer used a key to slightly loosen the cuffs. Song Chon immediately bit the officer's ear. He used the handcuffs to attack the driver and the 3 other officers in the vehicle. One officer drew his gun, but Song Chon snatched it away. The vehicle overturned on the road, and the old man, Song Chon, crawled out. He had also seized the gun and successfully escaped. Li Tang and Ro Bin, while eating at a restaurant, heard a news report. The serial killer Song Chon had killed 2 police officers during transport and escaped. The police suspected that this crime wasn't isolated but potentially organized. They had identified 2 suspects who might have met with Song Chon, possibly collaborating on plans to target their victims. Dong Han, while studying, was shown this news article by his girlfriend. His older sister, upon reading the news, called their mother, who fainted from the shock. Li Tang also lost his composure. Ro Bin suggested they escape across the border to a warmer country. Ro Bin arranged to meet 2 individuals specializing in border crossings at a familiar dental clinic to discuss the plan, telling the dentist, "I have nowhere else to go but here." They then began discussing the route to cross the border to China by boat. Song Chon dragged himself outside and intentionally left his phone on a truck to mislead the police. The police, detecting the phone's activation, pursued and stopped the truck, finding the phone Song Chon had left behind. He then stole clothes to disguise himself and evade the police. Later, as Li Tang was driving toward the port, Ro Bin received a call from the dental clinic. When he answered, he heard Song Chon's voice, and the dentist was now kneeling on the floor. Song Chon demanded Ro Bin meet him at a factory in Asan. "Remember, I still have the book I borrowed from you." Ro Bin listened but decided not to tell Li Tang. He then announced, "We need to split up to reach the port. It's too dangerous to travel together. I'll take the bus." Ro Bin went inside to find a suitable bus. Li Tang took Ro Bin's phone, downloaded a tracking app, and entered his own number. Ro Bin boarded the bus, and Li Tang boarded a different passenger vehicle. Li Tang was transported to a port. Someone arrived on a Super Cub, handed him a passport, and instructed, Li Tang, go inside and wait until evening for departure. Li Tang held the Chinese passport and read a letter left by Robin. I won't be going with you. Take care. After reading the letter, Li Tang picked up his backpack and left. Song Chan entered the hospital where Detective Zhang's father was being treated, carrying a bouquet of flowers. Hearing a strange noise, Zhang's wife went out to investigate. When she returned, she found the flowers on the table and a man sitting in the hospital room. Moments later, the mother lay motionless beside a medicine bottle, and Song Chan was sitting next to the father. Detective Zhang was returning home when Robin arrived, saying, I'm here to catch Song Chan. Detective Zhang let Robin inside and asked, Who are you to try and arrest him? You've been colluding with those two scumbags, Song Chan and Li Tang. How many people have died because of your twisted ideals? Robin countered. Why did you let Chairman Hyung die in front of you? Then, Robin promised, I'll help you catch Song Chan. I understand him better than anyone. But you have to agree to one thing. At that moment, Detective Zhang received a call from Officer Kim. Detective Zhang dismissed Robin's offer of cooperation before answering. He was visibly shocked by the news about his parents and immediately left for the hospital. Robin followed him there. At the hospital, they found Detective Zhang's father had just passed away. Officer Kim informed him, Your mother's okay. She'll wake up soon. We'll take care of the funeral arrangements for your father. Detective Zhang appeared dazed and walked past a flower basket. He then ran out of the hospital. A junior officer reported to Officer Kim, Detective Zhang hasn't returned his firearm. I'm a little worried. Detective Zhang got into his car, checked the gun in the glove compartment, and sped off. He drove with Robin, but Chief Moon intercepted them. Robin ducked down to hide. Chief Moon offered his condolences to Detective Zhang. Just then, two fellow officers came running towards them, so Detective Zhang quickly drove away. The two officers tried to pursue but couldn't catch up. In the car, despite Detective Zhang's demand to shut up, Robin persisted. Let Li Tang go. He's different from Song Chan. He's special. He doesn't leave any evidence. I'll help you catch Song Chan. I don't care what happens to me, but please let Li Tang go. You know the people Li Tang dealt with deserved it. This video was found on that prosecutor's phone. He's the culprit in the Di Chan missing girl case. Detective Zhang stopped the car, got out, shoved Robin, and said, You think you're God or something, deciding who lives and dies? Do you have the right to decide who deserves to die? Robin retorted. Aren't you trying to catch Song Chan for personal revenge? Detective Zhang replied. I have my reasons. Robin continued to press for cooperation in catching Song Chan. I'll accept any punishment after he's caught. Meanwhile, Li Tang stole a super cup from some human traffickers to escape. But the car broke down after a short distance, forcing him to run on foot to find Robin. He eventually reached his own car and drove off. Robin arrived at the abandoned factory where Song Chan had instructed him to meet, pleading, Uncle, please stop. I'll do anything you want. Song Chan sensed the presence of an uninvited guest and called out, Detective Zhang, come out. Song Chan then told Robin, You're just being used by this detective for his personal vendetta. He spent his whole life trying to catch me because I bashed his father's head in. Detective Zhang declared, I'm here to kill, not arrest. At that moment, Li Tang arrived in his car, guided by the location app on Robin's phone. Song Chan then told Detective Zhang to thank him. I helped your father find release. He was living like a dead man anyway. You and your mother were probably wondering when to put him out of his misery. Detective Zhang raised his gun. Song Chan taunted, You don't have the eyes of a killer. Li Tang then appeared, exciting Song Chan. Suddenly, as the lights flickered, Song Chan, already holding a gun, fired a shot. A shootout ensued between him and Detective Zhang in the flashing lights of the abandoned factory. Unexpectedly, Li Tang rushed in from behind and repeatedly struck Song Chan. Robin joined in, helping Li Tang disarm him. Detective Zhang took aim. He fired, hitting Song Chan in the stomach. However, Robin was struck by a stray bullet from Song Chan's gun and died instantly. Li Tang wept, asking, Why did you show up? Why couldn't we have gone our separate ways? Song Chan replied. People like us are necessary in this world. I've been wondering how you pulled off so many jobs. Is your ability real? Are you and I really that different? Detective Zhang demanded. Shut up. But Song Chan continued, "Your mother wasn't any better. You think she was having an affair with me back then? No. The fool was Chief Park, the one who got demoted along with you. Your mother had an affair with him. He used to be a close junior colleague of your father. They started seeing each other while your father was in a vegetative state. Go ahead and kill me, but if I die, you'll never know why your father ended up like that. Want me to tell you? Back then, I was a good, hard-working cop under your father's command. No matter what I did, he looked down on me. I trained hard and studied diligently to earn his respect. But in his eyes, I was just a clumsy idiot. One day, the lady at the police station canteen was going back to China, so I collected money from my colleagues to help her, and I asked your father to contribute too. But he ignored me and asked me to deliver a bag to her. I delivered the collected money and the bag, and she said your father asked her to give it to an acquaintance in China. That night, I saw a news report. A Korean Chinese woman was caught by Chinese police smuggling drugs from Korea to China. And that was the bag your father sent. He had been stealing confiscated drugs for over 5 years and used that innocent woman. I went to your father to ask if the woman would be released, but he brushed me off and even scolded me. He pretended to know nothing and kicked me, then used thug tactics to teach me a lesson. He even mocked me, saying, "You're just the son of a murderer. You're a cop thanks to me." I was grateful to him, and I also knew that he always found ways to block my promotions. I started to fight back and asked, why is he doing this to me? In your father's eyes, I was just the son of a murderer, nothing more, nothing less. So I decided to act on what your father thought of me. I hit him hard on the head with a club. I didn't stop until he collapsed. A chill ran down Li Tang's spine as he listened. Song Chan continued to manipulate Detective Jang. Your father is the one who made me this way. There, he was a corrupt cop, and your mother was a promiscuous woman. Li Tang reached for the gun to kill the old man in Detective Jang's place, but the detective asked, "Are you any different from him?" Song Chan seized the opportunity to get up and attack Li Tang, but Detective Jang coldly finished him off. Li Tang then promised, "I won't run away anymore." Later, a memorial service was held at the police station for Detective Jang's father, honoring him as an exemplary officer who sacrificed his life to protect the people. Detective Jang glanced at Chief Park. Young Officer Yang Yi also woke up after his brain surgery. But sadly, the image of the sharp and decisive officer he once was had faded somewhat. Detective Jang accepted disciplinary action for killing the wanted criminal. Addressing the media, Department Head Moon declared that the criminal Song Chan, responsible for the deaths of over 30 people and 2 police officers in the past 5 years, had been shot down by police during a pursuit. Song Chan's accomplice, Ro Bin, also deceased, was responsible for 5 murders. Detective Jang recalled Ro Bin's vow to manipulate the situation to frame himself as the culprit. Police raided Ro Bin's house and seized numerous weapons. The evidence perfectly matched the 5 recent cases. The captain informed Detective Jang that Professor No's murder occurred during a torrential downpour, preventing the recovery of DNA evidence. However, the perpetrator left a bite mark on a persimmon. Though the scene of Ro Bin's death was burned, the police recovered his dental impressions. Ro Bin's dental structure and that of Professor No's murderer were remarkably similar, as Ro Bin had previously requested his dentist to alter his teeth to match the bite mark on the fruit. The captain showed Detective Jang a picture, revealing that Li Tang was present on the day both Song Chan and Ro Bin died. That evening, Li Tang asked Detective Jang to kill him to end everything, confessing, "What I did wasn't justice." Detective Jang pulled the trigger, but the gun was empty. The detective asked, "Do you think you're special, or just lucky? Whether you run or turn yourself in is your decision. Someone will catch you, but it won't be me." Then, the detective left. The warehouse short-circuited and caught fire. Li Tang tried to drag Ro Bin outside, but he was unable to. The book Crime and Punishment burned. All evidence against Li Tang was erased. Once again, the captain asked Detective Jang, "Do you think Li Tang was involved in this case?" Detective Jang pondered this. Subsequently, a prosecutor approved the decision not to indict Li Tang. Retired police officer Park, now living abroad with his family, was walking with them when he saw Li Tang, the young man he had once investigated. Li Tang was living in the same country, regularly sending letters home, and working manual labor jobs to survive. One day, while walking home, Li Tang was approached by immigration officials and detained with other illegal immigrants. An immigration officer, holding Li Tang's real identification documents, wondered why this young man, with no criminal record, had immigrated to this country. Li Tang was stunned. He subsequently flew back to South Korea and began the process of reintegrating into society. Later, while shopping, Detective Zhang saw a news report about a man murdered the previous month, who was actually the perpetrator of several high-profile cases 3 years prior. Detective Zhang sensed something amiss. That same day, Li Tang bumped into a young man on the street, and the old feelings resurfaced within him.